One of the first things I did when we got this van was painted it. The entire interior was painted lavender with purple trim, and that just wasn't going with our beachy theme. So I did a white, a little bit of an off-white paint, and then the trim, although it's looking black in this light, it's actually navy blue, so it matches the inside of all the other decor that we did. And then just buying the throw pillows and the cushion covers for the benches and the comforter and the throw pillows up there and getting the custom made one. I feel like that just really changed the whole look and made it very personal to us. This was actually hanging on my partner's wall on the deck outside, and it's a very flat piece of metal sculpture, and I asked him if we could bring it in, and he loved the idea, and it just gives it such a beautiful centerpiece. And starting off with the rugs, I got these at Target, and I really love them. They're made out of kind of a rubber. They don't slide, but when we get back, we can just put them out on the ground and hose them off, which is such a bonus because of course they're going to get really dirty. And yeah, they're waterproof, so those have worked really well, and they go with our decor really well. There's lots of beautiful wood burning that the previous owners did throughout the van that gives it so much character. And we noticed its name was Dreamer, so we kept the name. I had a custom-made pillow off of Amazon with the name of the van, and some of the other wood burning quotes that are in here that I think are really awesome. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And you can see they're not just burned, it's like etched into the wood. And then over here, it says, traveling allows you to become so many different versions of yourself. And then here's some beautiful art. And this was a letter that she wrote to herself. I used ChatGPT to translate it, and it was really sweet. It was basically, you know, have the courage to do the things in life you want to do and be brave. And then over here, it says, wherever you go becomes a part of you somehow. So I love that. I love all this wood burning. They put a lot of love into building this van. And even though the decor wasn't really our style, so we changed that out to fit us, I do love all those special touches. None of these windows open, but they're all tinted, so we have lots of privacy. And if we want to get air flowing, we just open these back doors. And then there's also the fantastic fan, which I know you can get covers for, but we haven't really found the need to do that. We want to get up anyway when it's light. We keep a bag right there with our games and stuff in it, and then that we put it in the back when we're traveling to our spot, and then once we get there, we just keep that up there. This is a trunk organizer that I got from Amazon, and when we arrive, I put that along here. I'll have to put that out and show you. And then I keep a suitcase of my clothes on this side. My partner keeps a duffel bag with his clothes on this side, because once we're in our spot, we're not going anywhere. These are not swivel seats, so we're able to just use that for our clothes because there's not a whole lot of storage. This is the trunk organizer that I got off of Amazon. It's expandable, it buckles closed. And then when you open it, each compartment has this hard floor part that you can close down on it. And that fits perfectly right between the seats. It's even got a couple of little front pockets here. Honestly, I don't think I really use those, but we use these to put our jugs of water that we use for brushing our teeth or drinking or making coffee or cooking, our vacuum, my purse, some board games. miscellaneous things that we keep in there. We keep Max's little dish of water and food there. It kind of scoots under the seat and we just pull it out when we're feeding him. I also bought this organizer that hangs on the seat. We use that for our phone chargers and Max's leash, back scratcher, our keys, anything we need to get to and have easily accessible. This is the sink and refrigerator cabinet, and it's, I believe, press board, and it was all painted lavender and it was flat. So one of the remodels or upgrades we did, I put molding around the doors and the drawers. And then I ended up putting brushed silver hardware. I took all the other hinges and it didn't have any handles. So I got all that to put on there, and I think that gave it a nice finish. And then my partner took off, it had a plywood top. So my partner got a butcher block countertop, and then we got a sink that had the little insert to use as a cutting board, and it just gives you more counter space. And we love it. We couldn't be happier with it. It took us quite a while to decide on the sink and faucet. Actually, that wasn't a quick, easy decision because we wanted something that was deep, that we could wash pots and pans in, which is why we also got a faucet that's a little bit higher. And again, we love it. So for the water, we just turn on the switch on the panel and the water comes directly out of the faucet. We don't have to pump it. And the previous owners had these tiny little labels on each switch that our 60-year-old eyes just couldn't read. So I made some labels and put on there. That's much easier to identify. You can see we have one for water, one for the WeBoost, one for the refrigerator, the fan. We have a fantastic fan in here, and then we have a night light, a back, and a front light. I should come out and show you. The night light looks really pretty. It just kind of illuminates the floor area for getting up at night, which is perfect. And then in this drawer, it pushes to open, and that way it just stays closed. Kind of looks like a junk drawer, but it's got our silverware that we use, can openers, bag ties and holders, some tools, flashlight, a lantern, a first aid kit, duct tape, dish towels, have some dish rags folded up right in here. We have a candle, salt and pepper, jar openers, dish soap. And our refrigerator, of course, everything has latches so they don't come open when you're driving. It's an electric cooler, and it opens from the top, and it has lots of storage, plenty. You know, we're just usually out for 2 or 3 nights. We're weekend campers, and you can see there's no freezer section. This is all just refrigerator, and it plugs in. Has the little control buttons right there. And we love it. This has been great. It's plenty of room for what we need to bring. And then in the little side cupboard, this is where we keep our cleaning supplies. And we have our fire extinguisher, a fly swatter, a bucket. So in the campground, I take that bucket into the bathroom and put hot water in there because we don't have hot water. And I just fill that up and bring that out and use our biodegradable dish soap and wash our dishes. And then I just put it down our sink, down our drain, and I will show you how we catch the gray water. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, my partner does this. Slides under here. You can see the outlet right there. And then we just put this jug underneath there so that goes inside. And then the gray water just drains into there. And then when we leave, we just cap it off to bring it home to dispose of safely. Or if we're at a campground with the disposal site, we'll put it in there. This right here is again, that's off Amazon, and their I think it was called dorm laundry holder. And I use that to cover all our window shades. And we just keep that between the seat and the counter, and it hides them all. We're hoping to get a headliner to put across like a lot of people do for storage. That would definitely be one of our first things that we want to do. And then we would also like to put another cabinet above this window. We went with the nautical theme, and I'll insert a picture to show you what ChatGPT suggested when I was telling it, you know, kind of the idea of what I had in mind. So I worked from that, and I think honestly it turned out a lot like it. It really gave me a jump off point. The whole thing had more of an Asian sort of inspired vibe, which was beautiful. It just, we wanted to do something with more of a nautical vibe. These I just got off Amazon. They just fit right on top of the cover that was already on here. I just did navy blue. They had, I can't remember. It was, like I said, kind of an Asian fabric inspiration on there, but we were going for the navy blue. The bed is queen size, which was amazing. Like, didn't even know I'd be able to find something like that. And it goes this direction, which is perfect. So we don't have to crawl over each other to get out. And in this bench, which has beautiful designs, you can see these little frames that you pull the back out and they hold those pictures. And here's the hose, I'm assuming connects to the sink. I don't really know the details of all this little corner here, but I do know everything works. That seems a little bit like a chocolate mess to me, but you know, don't fix what isn't broken. Everything's been working great. And then over here on this side, this is just a little piece of vinyl that I unroll and lay on this table when we're eating. This is pot holders and cooking utensils. The utensils that we eat with are in the drawer. And then I keep this little towel here that keeps this from sliding. And in here is all our pots and pans. So we have also our place oven. So we have some cake pans and muffin tins for that. We have a cutting board, some more deeper pots down there. This doesn't really fit in our cupboards, and that's okay. You know, we're just able to pull it out as needed, and it's been working great. Hard to open, but it opens. And then we just keep more toiletries in there, and it comes out quite a bit, like all the way to here, and we're able to put quite a few things in there. I removed the pillows so you could see how beautiful the design is on these benches. There's more wood burning there and wood cuts here. They're just beautiful. And then in this bench, the other side, there's these little handles that you lift up. And on this side, more toiletries. I showed you the drawer that comes out that we keep a lot of the toiletries in. And then here, there's just some wipes and dental floss, another back scratcher. I think we have 3 of those in here. Flashlight, lip gloss. In here we have tissue, more toothbrushes, some putty if we want to put anything down so that it doesn't roll or slide off the counters. And then down here we have the marine grade toilet paper, tissue, the little caddy that I pull out for our toothbrushes once we arrive, and our dish soap. There's some more Band-Aids and a first aid kit, paper towels, the beach towel. And then on the other side, I mentioned that we keep the pots and pans. And then on this side, we keep the dishes. And we just pull those out as needed. Bowls, Tupperware, cups, glasses. I have a couple of extra coffee mugs in case we have visitors. But yeah, this is just more dishes that we can pull out and use. Some coffee filters, measuring cups. And these are stored under the bench, and when we arrive, I just set these out on the windowsill, and that holds anything we need to get to, like our prescription medication, nail clippers, dental floss, chapstick, flashlight, anything like that goes in these. And then I have a longer one I put on each side of our bed that creates like a little nightstand holder that we can put anything we might need during the night kind of closer to us, our bottle of water, that kind of thing. And when we arrive at the campsite, I will put this up, and that keeps our toothbrushes, toothpaste, some biodegradable dish soap, and our sponge. All this just kind of stays handy right there in the windowsill. The windowsill is also where I keep our paper towels. Usually when we arrive, on the counter will be our coffee pot. I have a Ziploc bag that I keep our food in. Anything that isn't canned, that's more fresh food, I will keep in that. Our snacks just goes on this counter right here. I'll take a picture when we go camping in a couple weekends and maybe do another video showing how we look when we're all set up at the campground. I will insert a picture and show you how this lifts up into a table that we can either eat on or we play games on. We also have a TV, so we set that up on there facing the bed, and we'll lay down in bed at night and watch the TV. And then right inside here is where we keep the toilet. And so the toilet just sits right inside this table trapdoor that opens into the garage, and it's perfect because we can pull it out at night before we go to bed and put it behind the passenger seat, and it stays there in case we get up in the night, because, you know, we're in our 60s and that's going to happen. But we use the campground bathroom, you know, during the day. This is just for in the night. We put chemicals and water in it, and then it's got a pump flush, so it's very easy to use. And then marine grade toilet paper disintegrates in the chemicals that's in there, so we end up just putting it in the dump station at the campground we're in, or when we get home, it can just dump into the toilet and get flushed. And then my partner hoses the whole thing out and cleans it. So that seems to work perfect. And then these, ChatGPT actually came up with these for me. I told it what my theme was, and it gave me these images, and I just printed them out at the drugstore. 6x6, and they slid right into, the frames are inside this bench. They had kind of an Asian themed artwork in here that was beautiful, but this is what ended up working perfect for us. Really happy with that. Feel like it matches the whole vibe really well. We've never really gotten cold camping in this van, and we've been to the beach a couple of times, and in Northern California, the beach can get pretty cold in the winter. But we have a fuzzy blanket on top with the sheets, and then a comforter. And then on top of that, we have this comforter, which I don't think we've ever even unfolded and used. We do have one of those electric lap blankets that you can buy. It's not as big as a single bed electric blanket. It's smaller, kind of covers the top surface of this. And we'll just lay that on top before we go to bed and plug it in and put it on warm, and that tends to keep us plenty warm. There's no cupboards on this side. And in fact, there's still a little trim work that needs to be done along there. I was actually going to just get some fairy lights for now to put on there. That would kind of hide that little opening. And then the other place is right here. We still need to get some kind of a trim kit for that, as well as that. And if we end up getting a headliner, which I want to do, that might even cover those little areas. The first cupboard, we just keep some dishes, coffee cups. That's the basket that keeps all our coffee supplies, some wine, olive oil. The cupboards are not real big, but like I said, we don't need them for clothes. We keep those in the front seat. Do use paper plates, just less mess to clean up. Foil behind the baggies here. We have some canned food in there, some cups, some gloves, some plastic silverware. And this middle cupboard we use for towels. I have an extra set of sheets just in case with our little dog, you never know. And washcloths. And then in the last one is that little blanket that plugs in I talked about. I have a poncho, and then we have a little blanket for Maxie that we lay out on the bed that he can sit on, and it's a little cozier for him. And then this is the garage area. Sorry, the sun is going to create shadows. And that's the tank that we fill. My partner puts a little bit of bleach in that, and that's just used for cleaning. We just use that for washing dishes or any kind of cleaning that needs to be done. We bring the jugs of water to use for cooking and drinking and brushing our teeth that we keep up front in that expandable trunk organizer. There's a yoga mat. That's the hose he uses. This is the container I talked about that sets underneath. We put this carpet out in front of the door and then the step stool to make it easier to get in. And we just bring that little oven in and put it on the counter if we want to do any baking or air frying. And then we also have a butane stove right there. And we have a Coleman stove. We have an electric skillet. Somewhere in here, I'm not seeing it, but we also have a propane grill that my partner uses quite a bit to cook on. And then we have some older shoes for hiking in. I have some rubber rain boots back there and several of these containers. So lots and lots of storage for anything we might need. I did get this bolster off of Amazon. Lots of Amazon advertising here. I can insert a picture of what it looked like. And the mattress cover, it's gray, and then the mattress cover and the sheet holds it in place, and it just tucks right there. So that creates a spot to fill this space where either Max, our little toy poodle, or our pillows could have fallen through. So that's worked really well. And it just slightly props our pillows up. So if we're on a campsite that's not level, our heads aren't hanging down, because it's a very gentle slope the way it props the pillows up, but it's just enough to make it really comfortable and again fill that space so nothing can fall through it. The bed is made, it's very sturdy, and it has all these slats so that there's lots of air moving through the mattress so it won't get moldy or mildew, which is always a big concern. And this is where we keep our trash. We're in campground, so it's easy to go dump it, and we just keep this right here on the doorstep. Still plenty of room. We have a little footstool that we put there to get in, and that seems to work really well. Thanks for coming along with me today. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and comment and consider subscribing. That will really help grow my channel. There's always something to explore here in Northern California, from the beautiful beaches to the redwoods to thrifting to maybe some gardening, small town tours, and of course our van adventures. So if this sounds like something you'd enjoy, please hit the subscribe button and follow along. Have a beautiful weekend, and until next time, make sure you get out there and do something that feeds your spirit.